Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ask Amita live here today, and we are going to be talking about diabetes. I hope you all can hear me. Can someone give me a thumbs up or a heart if you can hear, if the audio is okay? And we will start off with your questions. So today we are going to be speaking about diabetes, and I have Dipali here with me asking questions on your behalf. And of course, you guys also start putting your questions in the chat box so that we can answer them. So yes, what's your
Yeah.
question? First question.
So I would like to start with the types of diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So you
There.
all also know, there are two types of diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between this type 1 and type 2 diabetes?
Okay. Diabetes type 1 is when our body cannot produce enough insulin because of a condition, which is like an autoimmune condition, because of which we don't have enough insulin. And type 2 diabetes is where oftentimes we have enough insulin, but our body can't use because of other factors, like factors are dependent on our lifestyle, they're dependent on our diet and everything, but because of which an insufficiency like situation gets created in our body, and our body can't use the say the insulin that we have available, and hence our blood sugars become haywire. That is type 2
Oh,
diabetes.
okay.
So type 1 is largely genetic. Of late, we are also seeing some cases of autoimmune type 1 diabetes as well. And type 2 is where you have, say, because of excessive weight or because of higher body fat, or of course you also have a family history of diabetes, because of which all that also becomes a factor for type 2 diabetes. A poor lifestyle, extreme stress, all of that can lead you to an insulin resistance, leading to diabetes situation, diabetes type 2. Do we have any
Hmm.
questions here? Let's look at the live chat. Yes, people, please start posting your questions about diabetes. डायबिटीज के बारे में आपके जो भी सवाल है वो आप यहाँ पर पोस्ट कर सकते हैं. चैट बॉक्स आपको सामने दिख रहा है. चैट कमेंट्स जो दिख रहे हैं उसमें आपके सवाल जो है वो पूछते जाइए, और मैं उसके जवाब देती जाऊंगी.
Yeah.
यस.
So now type 1 is genetic,
Mm-hmm.
but type 2 is related to the lifestyle disorders,
Yes.
right? So is it reversible?
Yeah, absolutely. So, see, diabetes, when we say diabetes is reversible, we are actually saying that diabetes can be put into remission. By that,
Hmm.
I mean that we can, say, bring about a situation, or we can control your blood glucose levels, your glycated hemoglobin levels, and we can bring it back to normal. And it can continue to be normal if you follow a certain lifestyle and exercise and diet and everything. But once you got, like, if you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes once, and then due to a diet and exercise and lifestyle intervention you brought it all back to normal, does not mean that you can't get it again, because it's like
Hmm.
you're putting it in remission. By that we mean that it's in a dormant kind of a state. It's like say it is something sota hua naag saap samajh lo,
Hmm.
it can still come back up
Hmm.
and bite you, and you can get those symptoms again. So yes, diabetes can be, we can have diabetes remission, but that does not mean that once you have achieved remission then you can just rest easy and start off eating the jalebis and rabdis. It doesn't happen that way.
So then a diabetic person can never have sweets, or
No,
occasionally it is like.
you can have it occasionally. So it, see, diabetes management is all about, especially the diet part, it's all about striking a balance. When we say you need to strike a balance, I mean that every meal that you're eating, it needs to have a certain glycemic load. It cannot have too much of a glycemic load, and it can't have too little as well, because otherwise, to give you an example, if you don't have any carbs in a meal, if you're eating, say, only vegetables and you have diabetes, then you are likely to get hypoglycemia later, after that meal, because you didn't have a balance of the carbohydrates and of the fat and the fiber and protein and everything. Okay. So we have to ensure a balance. So what does that mean? If you want to eat, say, a jalebi,
Hmm.
okay, so you wanted to eat a jalebi, but you have diabetes, so what can you do with that jalebi? You can have a healthy protein. You can have dahi, a lot of people have
Hmm.
dahi. So of course the quantity of the jalebi is also going to matter. So if you have diabetes, then I wouldn't recommend having say 500 grams of jalebi
Hmm.
in one go. But you, if you want to have one or two jalebi, provided your HbA1c levels are not too high,
Hmm.
then what you can do is have a little dahi with it. Also you can
Hmm.
have a fruit with it, so that the blood glucose level doesn't spike too much.
Hmm.
So this kind of an indulgence or with sweets is something you can do occasionally but not regularly. And of course the other option also is that you use sweeteners. So someone here has asked about sweeteners for
Hmm.
diabetes. So you say offer sweeteners. So you have different forms. You have natural sweeteners like stevia and monk fruit sugar, or you have synthetic sweeteners like aspartame or
Hmm.
even your sucralose and everything. So you can offer those. So at least the sugar component reduces.
Hmm. So I've seen in the market, we are having this sugar-free sweets and
Hmm.
laddus.
Hmm. Hmm.
So is that fine to have
Once in a while, you can
once in a
have
while?
the sugar-free
Hmm.
sweets or laddus, but in diabetes, when remember the balance that I told you about, so that balance is also not just about the carbs and the sugars, but also for the fat.
Hmm.
Okay, so now a sugar-free laddu hai. To
Hmm.
make it a laddu is going to have some ghee in it, is going to have, say besan or atta
Hmm.
or sabudana flour, whatever, or dry fruits in it. So without ghee, it's very difficult to make laddus. Or if you're going to be making it with dried fruit, then
Hmm.
some nuts and dry fruits are also going to have a lot of fat.
Right.
So you need to remember that we have to cap even our fat intake along with the sugar intake. So a lot of times people think that diabetes management is only about managing the sugars, but it's more about managing the balance. It's not just about managing the sugars. So we need to have a good balance of your protein as well as your fat and your carbs. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's look at some questions that have come in here.
Yeah, here Mansi Jogrekar, she's asking lifestyle काय असावी?
Hmm.
Mean the diet.
Yes. So, Mansi, the main diet that you need to remember for diabetes is that every meal, आप हर खाना जो खा रहे हो, उसमें you need to have one protein, you need to have one healthy whole carb, you need to have good amount of fiber, and you need to have minimal fat is what you need to look after. So, to give you an example, अगर आपको डायबिटीज है और आपको पोहा खाना है, तो आप आधी कटोरी पोहे के साथ, उसमें पोहे में भी काफ़ी सारी सब्जी डाल सकते हैं. सो आई वुड recommend that you add a lot of vegetables as well as peas, green
Hmm.
peas to the poha that you are eating. And with that, you can also add in or have along with it, you don't have to mix it in the poha, but you can have, say, some dahi or a boiled egg with the poha. And that is how you can balance the whole meal out. This is how any diabetic diet should go. So that's the main factor when we are saying diabetes management, that you need to have all three components in not equal amount. So
Hmm.
your, say, the carbs need to be around 15 to 20% of your plate, and the
Hmm.
rest needs to be filled up with fiber and protein and healthy fat. All
So
right.
not more than a quarter of your plate should be carbs.
Not definitely not more than a quarter of your plate should be allocated to carbohydrates, even if they are a whole wheat, even if they are like millets and everything that
Hmm.
you're having. Not more than 20 to 25% of carbs is how you need to go about it. And along with that, ये नहीं करना है कि healthy fat बोला है तो you have a dal and you have sabzi, and with that you add
Ghee.
like say ghee to it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's not recommended, because your the dal and the say sabzi are already going to have a tadka, so the fat is already there. You don't need to add in an extra
Extra.
dollop of ghee on top of it.
So
Okay.
दाल फ्राई खा सकते हैं, दाल तड़का we must avoid.
Yeah, so regular dal, yes, with
Not
the
normal one.
but not with
Yeah.
extra tadka,
So when
like
we go to a
extra.
restaurant, we get this option,
Yeah, yeah,
dal
dal
fry.
fry and dal tadka. So no dal tadka.
Tadka.
Definitely none of that. Yeah.
Now regarding the breakfast,
Mm.
there are these fruits. So we have the bananas
Mm.
and all. So are there any fruits which a diabetic should avoid?
I wouldn't say completely avoid, but depending on your HbA1c levels. For example, if your HbA1c is anywhere between 5.7 to 6.3, you don't need to be really restricting any fruits. But what you do need to do is, whenever you're eating a fruit, you need to limit the quantity of it, and you need to have some protein with it, or a combination of a protein and fat. So if you're eating, say, papaya, for example, papaya and watermelon, they are very high in glycemic index, and a lot of people with diabetes also like papaya and watermelon. So if you're having any of that, provided your HbA1c is lower than 7.2, 7.3, then what you need to do is, with that you can have some nuts, or you can have, say, banana with it or something, so that you are maintaining a balance and your sugars don't spike. If you're, say, a lot of people have HbA1c anywhere around 6, 6.2, 6.3 or lower, so that is insulin resistance, which is very, you can, reduce it very easily. And with that, again, you don't need to be, say, avoiding any fruits or any such thing. But if your frequency of fruits is, say, if you like to eat a whole lot of fruits, then I would recommend having it after a meal. So
After
fruits
meal.
like, say, your mango or papaya or watermelon, you have it after a meal. Or if you're having it as a snack, as a standalone, then have something else with it.
Okay. So we have here a question regarding intermittent fasting. Help in diabetes management?
No, in fact, if you are not monitoring your intermittent fasting, then what it can do is, it can put you at risk of hypoglycemia. Because in diabetes, there are two risks that you have. One is that your sugars can increase too much, and the bigger risk is that your sugars can drop too low, because now you're avoiding certain foods and everything. Plus, if you're on medication, then you need to be extra careful. So I don't recommend intermittent fasting for anyone with diabetes, because I don't want any of my patient getting hypoglycemia. So regular meals are what are recommended, and that's what works for all of our patients.
So rather than being helpful, it is harmful actually.
It can be
It can
risky.
be risky.
It can be risky. Yeah.
And regarding the meal timings, so how are they important for a diabetic? So should we have meals at proper time, or before sunset should we have our dinners?
So before sunset is not that critical, but what you do need to ensure is that your meals are not happening too late, because then it doesn't give your body enough time to manage them, to metabolize it, and then to bring the sugars back to normal. So your last meal needs to happen, say, around 2 to 2.5 hours before your bedtime. Okay, we have more questions
Yeah,
here. Yeah.
yeah. So here, someone has asked if someone has low sugar and feeling dizzy, what should be done to get them out of it?
So I'm assuming that this is for someone with diabetes. They need to be always carrying a hard-boiled candy with them. By that, I don't mean a chocolate, okay? I mean the sugar candy, sugar-boiled confectionery. Confectionery is what you need to carry with you, and you need to chew on it immediately, so that your blood glucose level increases and comes back to normal. And if this is someone is getting hypoglycemia all the time without diabetes, then you need to be eating well, and you also need to be hydrating well. Yeah.
Archana Kulkarni, she has asked like 5.7 HbA1c is there. Then is it reversible?
Yes, yes. Like I said, when I say reversible, I'm always speaking of remission. So it's not that you brought it down and then you forgot about it, or you went back to an unhealthy lifestyle, or eating, or treating or indulging yourself too much. But yes, you can bring it down to normal levels through a diet and lifestyle intervention. We do it all the time in our clinic. We have so many people with slightly elevated HbA1c levels, and then it comes back to normal within a very short time, around 3 months or so, provided they follow the diet and exercise that we are telling them about. Yeah.
Yeah. Now regarding the exercise,
Uh-huh.
like what kind of exercise is recommended for patients with diabetes?
We would start with walking. That's the best exercise. And once you've established a good walking practice, then even using strength training is recommended. Because in principle, what we have to do in terms of diabetes management is that whatever glucose we have in the bloodstream, we have to ensure that it gets cleared out from the bloodstream. Okay, so because when we are checking our fasting blood glucose levels, so we are checking random blood glucose levels, so you are checking postprandial blood glucose levels, you are essentially checking how long is it taking for your body to say clear out the blood glucose after a meal. And for that we recommend that you say start strength training as well, because one of the places, the number one place or the first place where your body is going to take all the extra glucose is going to be your liver. So that is where you have glycogen stores, and the next place is all your muscle. So if you don't strength train, then you will not have enough muscle to store all of the extra glycogen. Hence, strength training also helps in diabetes management.
Mm. Okay.
Should we take the last question
Yeah.
now? It's already 5:15 and we
15.
have
Yeah.
answered a good number of questions
Yeah.
already. Yes, quickly
So
questions.
here
Yeah.
we have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one is that can fenugreek water
Mm.
help with diabetes?
No, it doesn't help with diabetes. It's a
Myth.
mental game. It's just gives you something to do, and it's getting you to drink, say, water in the morning, and hence you end up eliminating well, or your bowel movement becomes better, your digestion improves. But as such, fenugreek water is not going to help you with anything.
One question is that how many meals should one have per day? Roti and rice be replaced by the millets?
It not necessarily. You don't need to replace roti and rice with millets, because, like I explained earlier, roti, rice, and millets, they all have similar carbohydrates in them. So even if you're eating millets, it's not like millets are zero in carbohydrates. They have as much carbs as your roti and rice. So what you need to remember is that you don't need to replace one with other, but you can include everything in your diet, but the portion needs to be limited. So not more than 25% of your entire meal, or the 25% of your entire calories from a meal should come from carbohydrates.
Hmm. And one one more question is that can a diabetic can diabetic people eat high fiber digestive biscuits?
Oh my God, you guys, you know how much I hate biscuits, but let me tell you this, okay? Even if you are eating high fiber biscuits, so you get diabetes or diabetic friendly biscuits and everything, please remember that the amount of fiber that is added to that biscuit is very little. It's not even 5% of the entire biscuit, okay? Which means that the rest 95% of the biscuit is only maida or whole wheat, and a whole lot of fat and sugar, which no one needs, okay? Even if they say that they have added some stevia or something, it still is giving you empty calories, which I don't recommend. You might as well eat a methi thepla or something if at all you have to, okay?
Yeah, and Mansi's question, she wanted to know about the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So, what kind of lifestyle one must have?
Mansi, I'm going to leave this with you. I want you to tell me what is your idea of a healthy lifestyle. Please post it in the comments as soon as the live, like as soon as we post this live and share it with everyone. Let me know. I will be looking at the comments after this live as well, and let me know what is your idea of a healthy lifestyle, and then I will tell you what is useful. Okay, because I think by now you already gotten a fair idea that you need to be having healthy meals, balanced meals, you need to be exercising every day, you also need to be focusing on your sleep, and you need to be doing strength training, hydrating well. These are the basics. But what according to you is a healthy lifestyle for yourself? You let me know in the comments, and then I'll respond back to you.
So, last question for today.
Yes.
Okay. So, somebody is asking about the sugars during pregnancy,
Ah,
and if you have PCOS.
yeah.
So, in that case, how do we manage it during pregnancy and PCOS?
See, gestational diabetes mellitus is extremely, extremely important to be managed. It should not be ignored ever, because that is something which is putting you as a mother as well as your baby at risk. Okay. So, the number one thing to do is to manage your diet, because remember, your diet becomes the very foundation of managing your GDM, that is your gestational diabetes mellitus, which is diabetes that occurs in pregnancy. If you are planning to conceive, then please remember that it's important that you work on your habits before you conceive. So ensure that your lifestyle is healthy, that you're eating right, that you're exercising, and that your weight is near the ideal weight for your, say, height and for your body type, because otherwise that again puts you at risk of GDM. Coming back to the management of GDM, again the tenets, the principles of management remain the same, but in GDM, we recommend that you check your blood sugar levels more often than we do for people with diabetes diabetes otherwise, because that is very critically, like, impacting the fetus, the growing fetus. So we also work with a lot of people, gestational diabetes patients in India as well as abroad, and for them especially I recommend that they can try checking their blood glucose levels regularly at home, or wearing a glucose monitor. That also becomes helpful, but please don't ignore it, okay? It needs to be worked upon.
Hmm. And someone has
One more
asked it.
question.
The last question for the
Okay.
day. So he has asked about the darkened skin around the neck. So is it an
Yes.
indication of diabetes?
It is an indication of insulin resistance, which can even be diabetes. So you should get your HbA1c levels checked. The question is from Just a Happy
Just
Place is the
yeah.
handle. So this is the darkening of the neck here. A leathery darkening of your neck is called acanthosis nigricans, and it's a hallmark. It's a classic sign of insulin resistance, and it is reversible completely. It can go away. We do this all the time with so many patients, where they come to us with a dark belt around their neck or even in the armpits and stuff. And as we improve their blood glucose levels, it shows that all of that goes away. So the way to getting rid of the acanthosis nigricans is managing your blood glucose levels. You definitely have insulin resistance. Whether it is diabetes or not will be determined by your doctor on seeing the blood tests. Hope that helps you. All right, then see you guys next time, and do post your questions. And thank you so much. Gauri Raze is also your Mansi. Gauri, Just a Happy Place. We have Palla. We also have some more people here who have joined. Thank you so much for joining, Archana Kulkarni and Saili Gaikwad. I'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye.